You're the one that brought it to me. The whole, you gave it to me.
I learned it from watching you.
Yeah, you definitely gave me ADHD. It was after about 4 years of being married together and sleeping in the same bed. Prior to that,
You're like, she's contagious.
I was super organized all the time.
Yeah, you were.
I could think about things clearly. I used to sit in parking lots all the time without any problems.
Oh,
Hardly
goodness.
ever used my phone. And then I married Steph. Here we are. No.
Gaslighter.
We'll make it out and fall in love tonight. Ain't nothing needed but
Wishes.
Wishes.
Wishes and dreams and all of
Unicorn
nature's
farts.
beautiful things.
That's beautiful.
Aw.
Say it again. Wishes and dreams and all of nature's beautiful things.
I think so. You
Where
said
did you
it.
come from? Where did that come from?
My brain.
Really?
My brain.
Say it
now.
one more time. Look at the
Wishes-
camera and say it.
Okay, wishes. No, I'm too embarrassed.
Say it. Say it.
Don't.
Do it.
All right, peer pressure.
Do it.
Nature's and dreams. No. Okay, I can do this. Wishes and dreams and all of nature's beautiful things.
Let me try.
Okay.
Wishes and dreams and all of nature's beautiful things.
We're definitely going with that
Hey,
one.
we don't know what the we're talking about on today's episode of this podcast that we're doing. It's one of those episodes where we're just going to wing it and find what happens in the middle somewhere along the way.
You just
So
already
hopefully you're along for the ride.
you already brought in a first 10-minute bleep that you're gonna have to do.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Do you think it's like weird when we hear the bleeps? Like you're listening to it and like bleep.
I don't think it's weird.
No.
I mean, it sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, just for people that are like what happens is when you monetize your content, then you have to follow the guidelines that those places that monetize your content give you in order to maintain monetization. And one of them on YouTube is ideally, right? Ideally, no swears in the first 10 minutes.
Yes.
And I don't know if it's all swears or if it's just the big ones.
Just the big ones.
Yeah, I kind of only worry about the big ones. Really, I only worry about
The
That's the only one that I really focus on. I think we had some in there with some asses and some shits and some dams and stuff, but now we're getting them
this
all.
whole episode's going to be like beep, 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 beep. The first 10 minutes is going to sound like we're doing Morse code.
That's it.
Like, I don't know that we really swore that much in the first 10 minutes before.
Well, we're swearing this time.
Before it was like, hey, in the first 10 minutes is no. And I'm like, oh, I don't know how to stop. It's just like, you tell me I can't swear. And
You're such a kid like that. It's so funny.
let's
Like,
do
as
a
soon
swear
as-
count. Who has
No,
more
not the
swears?
swearing part. It's like as soon as somebody tells you, like, hey, be really careful. Don't do this thing. Okay.
Well, it's a part of my charm. What can
You know,
I
don't
say?
spill that glass.
Oh.
Okay. And then it spills everywhere. It's cute.
I know.
It's very cute.
Yeah, it's a part of my DNA. What can I say?
I think it's cute. It's part of your quirkiness.
My DNA. What can I say? I think I'm a poet today.
I think you are too.
I'm just
Not even today.
not even today.
I think you got a Dead Poet Society inside of you.
No.
It's time to let them out.
That sounded so weird.
Is there any part of you, like back in the day when you were a teenager and growing up and stuff, that you would pretend to be a poet, like write things that were so poetic and powerful? And did you ever do that?
I don't think I was pretending to be a poet, mister. I think I was a poet.
Yeah,
and
I do
would.
too.
I would write songs and poems.
Wait, did you?
Yes.
Oh, do you still have them? I would love them.
I
they buried somewhere?
don't think they made it. I don't think they made it.
They didn't make
No,
it in the
no.
wagon train east.
I don't even know if they made it to Grantsville.
Yeah.
They probably did, but they didn't. They didn't make it east.
Well, part of the reason why we're winging this episode is because this MFer right here, I was going to say son of a bitch, this guy, you're right, I think we're getting all the swears in this episode.
Yeah, beep, 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 beep.
Is sick and has been sick for 14 weeks. It just feels like a nightmare.
It has really
It's been a while.
hung on.
Yeah.
It's hung on. It's like you don't get sick very often in the slightest. You don't have it. So when it hits, it's like, okay, everybody, here's our chance. It's going to be 5 years
Right.
before he catches a cold again. So everybody
Yeah. It's
make him
been
sit
kicking
down
my
and take a
trash.
breath. Make him rest for just 5 days.
We did some pickleballing on the weekend on Sunday with some friends and then came home and I took a shower and immediately was like, as soon as it was when I was in the shower, I could feel my fever.
Yeah.
Because suddenly I was like really cold in the shower. I'm like, oh, this ain't good. And so I heated the shower up really hot and the bathroom got really hot. So that all felt really, really good. But as soon as I turned the water off, I started shaking and I'm like, oh, this is going downhill fast. And then it was like all I could do to get clothy. Anyways, go buy yourself some woolly. Yeah, no, it was all I could do to get some clothes on. I cannot say that first word.
Cozy?
That's a good word for it. Let's try that.
Cozy clothes?
Some cozy clothes.
Cozy.
And I've been in them ever since. I brushed my teeth for this episode.
That's good.
I slightly combed my hair. I need to shave.
You're looking beautiful.
I smelled the pits before we pushed record.
This isn't smell-o-vision. It's okay.
Thank goodness.
You showed up.
You're getting about 25% of Craig today.
So what do I have today? Or what do I have?
Let's hope you're pulling above 50.
I think I'm pulling a solid.
You got a 60?
A solid 60.
You got a 60 cent. You got a 60 cent ass there?
I think I got a solid 60.
60% ass?
80%. That's pretty great.
I think so.
I think it was pretty great.
It's going to be interesting how this turns out.
You were like, because when we went and played pickleball, it was like day 3 or something for you. Day 3 or 4.
I feel like I was sick for a week or something.
I don't know. It was that part of where we thought that it's okay. It's going to start feeling better now.
The day before that pickleballing, I was like, baby, I think I'm past the halfway mark. Mm-hmm. I think I'm feeling better. I'm on the downhill slide.
Right.
And then all the germs in my body were like, this motherfucker.
Attack.
Hold my beer.
Right. You came out of the shower and your cozy clothes and your woolly pants and you were just like, you were all like warm, but you had your hands like this and you were going and you came in like wrapped up in a blanket. That is not you. Yeah. I was like, oh fuck, you're not feeling good.
And then I've been in fever dreams for the past 3 days.
Yeah.
It's been fun. It's been a really good time. I love being sick. It's so fun. Some of my favorite times.
So you're well enough that we're recording today.
Yes.
We're bringing our A game. Here we are.
Today's the first day of the week where I feel like I can actually sit down and carry a conversation with you without having to blow my nose. Hopefully. We might have to do some commercial ad breaks for nose blows. But for the most part, I feel like I'm here.
Yes.
And I'm present and I'm ready to go.
You're really good.
So what are we talking about today?
I mean, I don't know what we're talking about today, but I definitely made myself snort laugh this morning. And I just think that that's a new talent unlocked.
I'm so sorry.
You
know how we both have ADD.
That's how I snort laughed.
And my ADD is different than yours.
Was I doing the leaning through the mic again and
not
it was
just
driving
the
you
leaning
crazy?
thing, but you like do this thing with the head tilt and then you come in closer to the microphone. And the next thing you know, Stephanie just like turns sideways.
Am I sideways?
No, you're not. I'm over exaggerating it. And I guarantee I'm the only one that notices it.
I hope so. I'm really embarrassed right now.
I'm the only one that notices it.
I'll reach for it like this.
Don't make me laugh too hard.
Sorry.
And the only reason I notice it is because I edit it all.
I know.
And so all day long I'm looking at your beautiful face and I'm like, baby, sit up straight.
And I'm like,
sit up straight.
It's so hard. Okay.
You can do it.
I've been trying to do this the whole time. Every episode, I'm like, sit up straight. I position myself ahead of time to sit up straight. What's that? And then I don't.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
Like you get to.
Then why are you shaming me?
I know, right? I'm such a jerk.
Me.
I know, but
it's
totally.
Not, no.
Yeah, but it's not shaming. But it's also like, who cares how she sits?
Well.
It's not a big deal. Sit how you want to sit. I'll stop being ADHD annoying.
I'm not taking it
That's
personal.
not true. I'm actually going to continue to be ADHD annoying. That's never not going to be a thing.
That's never not going to be a thing. I think that is a beautiful thing. And you and me and ADD make, I don't know, I guess I'm done rhyming. I was close.
You were very close.
I was close.
Let's do it one more time.
And then I could hear it and I'm like, oh, say something smart. Say something witty.
You and me and ADHD.
That was good.
We make up a perfect harmony.
Ooh, look at Craig bringing it in. Harmonizing the harmony.
You're super cute. Yeah.
You are super cute. Okay.
How long? I mean, we haven't done an ADHD episode.
I think all of our episodes are ADHD. every time.
Good point.
Oh man, this one's thick
Okay.
though. This one's thick.
Okay, good point.
Okay.
Every
yeah.
episode's in it, but
Okay.
we haven't talked about it.
Okay. Are we talking about
I
it?
don't know. Let's talk about it.
Okay.
Let's talk about the neurodivergent spectrum that we have found
Let's
ourselves on
talk
in our
about
40s.
it. Okay.
Where would you like to start?
I had an interesting experience 2 days ago where I realized, because I have all these little things that I'm like, oh, I like to call it the ah-da-da. It makes me feel better. And I'm like, it's the ah-da-da. And then I'm making it fun.
And that's your way of referring to the ADD, right?
ADD, the ah-da-da. It's just, it makes me
cute.
happy.
It's cute. And I think it's also a clear sign that you're on the spectrum.
Well,
I make up my own words. It makes me happy.
Yeah, that's true, though. That's totally true.
That's very true.
Oh, my goodness. Okay,
Tell your
so
story.
I'm sitting in the car, or I'm sitting, I'm waiting. I'm waiting for an order to come in. I'm sitting there, and my phone, when I left the house, I had forgot to turn Wi-Fi back on the previous day. So my phone, I'd been on it and using it, and it was just data. It was just pulling. So my battery was halfway gone. And when I'm out running, it uses a lot of my battery. So I'm sitting there and I have to conserve my battery. I've got it plugged into the van, but it's not the fastest charge, It's got it plugged in and I'm waiting. And I just have to sit there because I didn't bring a book to read. I can't get on my phone, and I'm just sitting there like I have my journal prompts, my thing for when inspiration hits so I can write down, because we mentioned I'm writing a book. But I'm like, I'm not like, I need some inspiration. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, I can just sit here. I'm just going to watch and listening to sounds. And then was like, oh my God, I can't do it. It started to like make me sweat. And I'm like, oh my God, you can do this. You can sit here and not do anything for a second. I'm like, yes, I will be mindful. I'm going to play a game. I'm going to be mindful. So I'm like, how many different sounds can I hear? I started to really dive into my mindfulness. And so many times I come to and my phone's in my hand and I'm like, how did that happen? It's up in a clip on the dash. But I get distracted, grab my phone for something, and then I'm being mindful, put it back. Focus on the leaves on the trees. Focus at how like this section of leaves, and I know I started telling you this, but like has that, like these leaves were dead. So there was like these red leaves that looked very disturbing, little slabs of meat looking like in the green leaves. And then I started thinking about, does that make me crazy because I saw slabs of meat? Did I fail that ink dot test? Am I insane? And then I'm on my phone and then I put it back and I'm like, pay attention. So many times I came to awareness, being mindful. I'm like, how do I get distracted? Something comes to my brain. I'm like, oh, let's look. Completely forget what I'm doing. I'm like, oh, this might be bad. And when I had awareness, when I had the mindful to sit there, I had awareness of how uncomfortable my body was, of how I'm like, I need to do something. I need stimulus. I need to do something. I can't sit here. Stimulus. I think I meant stimuli. I need a stimmy because I couldn't. It was so uncomfortable to just
sit still for a minute.
Still. And now if I'm on the beach, of course. If I'm sitting of course. But sitting in a parking lot and trying to be calm and be mindful.
Yeah. There's your spiritual practice, right? Go park in a parking lot and sit there for 15 minutes. Do nothing.
Yeah. It was torture. I understand that's not the correct use of that word, but it was really difficult. I mean, that's not technically,
It's torture for somebody. You had a hard time with it.
I had a very difficult time with it.
I have a hard time with that kind of stuff too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard for us to go anywhere without our phones and snag them and grab them and, do all the things that we're doing with phones these days. What did we do before phones? And it's not like our ADD appeared just with the phones.
I think before phones, I was a social person.
Yeah.
I think I was like
chatting up everybody.
And I was interacting with people and doing things.
Just way more active.
Yes. Or all the curtains were drawn.
Did you read a lot?
The lights were off. I did read a lot.
Yeah.
And I also watched TV a lot.
Yeah, I think that was mine, was the TV.
Yeah.
Was just, constantly watching TV. Yeah, it's hard. I think you're the one that brought it to me. The whole, you gave it to me.
I learned it from watching
you. You definitely gave me ADHD. It was after about 4 years of being married together and sleeping in the same bed. Prior to that,
You're like, she's contagious.
I was super organized all the time.
Yeah, you were.
I could think about things clearly. I used to sit in parking lots all the time without any problems.
Oh my
Hardly
goodness.
ever used my phone. And then I married Steph. Here we are. No.
Gaslighter.
I was
That's
oblivious to it.
yeah.
Completely oblivious to it. And it's not just ADHD either, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely on that autism spectrum in some capacity. And I know that like there's a whole, like I feel, I'm always not skeptical. I'm always afraid to say that I am on that spectrum, not out of judgment or anything. I could care less about the judgment part of it. But I'm worried about the people, because there's people that are like, not everybody is on that spectrum. And I'm like, I agree. I don't think everybody is on that spectrum, but I think it's a pretty big spectrum.
Yes.
And I think we like to label all of these different behavioral things over the course of history and time, right? Whether it's like Asperger's or autism or all of these kind of different things. And then each one of those have varying degrees. And I like neurodivergent. That
Yes.
to me makes...
It's a nice umbrella.
It's a big umbrella, covers everything. It's got everybody wrapped up in a nice little bow. It makes it simple for me. And part of what I don't think of them as issues, but part of the way that my brain works is I like to make things simple and easy to understand.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if there's a label that fits and feels good for me, I'm going to wear it. I'm going to carry it, and I'm going to kind of embody that. And it wasn't... like legitimately, I feel like it was probably like in the last 5 or 6 years
Mm-hmm.
that you started bringing awareness to it for yourself, as well as like pointing it out in regards to me sometimes. And I was like, oh, you might be onto something, because it's all the ADHD stuff and our inability to stay focused. I mean, this is what these cards are all about. If you've ever noticed, if you ever watch this podcast and see me playing with cards, that's just my fidget spinner, where I have to have my hands doing something. And if I don't, then, you're the same way over there, Miss, trying to hold your hands steady.
I do. I use my nails, and I have to like sensory. I have to, like do patterns. I have to like
in
push
order to hold still,
and different parts, and sometimes fingers, but I have to like, I move my, I have to do something.
And
I don't even know how to word it.
That's all the stimming, right? That's what those things are called.
I think, yeah.
Our stimming things that we do. Yeah. What are some more of your stims?
We were talking about...
That's right. We were talking about Craig's stims. I got my cards. But I didn't have any awareness of any of this stuff. I never saw my life through the lens of this until, like we were saying, like 4 or 5 years ago. And now seeing my life through that, it's changed so many different aspects of how not only I see myself, but how I see my past and how I see my life, how I see myself in school. I think about growing up, how, it wasn't just that I couldn't sit still. I could sit in a class. I wasn't the kid that was like climbing on his desk and, I could sit and go through the class.
Mm-hmm.
I did not enjoy it.
Yeah.
And truth be told, I think that I was the vast majority of the time I was gone. I wasn't really present in the class. I knew how to tune in and listen and pick up on like what somebody was saying, right? But what's wrong, babe?
All of those adjustments, it was on me. The camera was on me. So I don't even know what I was doing. I might have picked my nose. I don't know. You were talking and I'm sitting and I catch a glimpse and realize I'm over here like trying to adjust.
We'll talk to the guy that edits the episodes and see what's up. Anyways, growing up, I did well in school, but it wasn't because I like sat and went through things. Do you know what I mean? I would always like wait till the end, do everything last minute. I cheated a lot. There was always like guys that I knew, would have the answers, and then I would cheat off of their tests, or I just had all of those little things that would help me get through school. And then especially once I got into high school, then I just stopped going to class. And I feel like, and this is funny too, now that we're talking about this, how we'll have reoccurring dreams. Sometimes I think I have a reoccurring dream about high school. Oh, this is weird. Suddenly out of nowhere. the dream isn't necessarily super specific about high school, but there's like this theme, and the theme is that I am not going to graduate because I don't go to class. So I have to figure out how I'm going to get all my credits and get everything done that I need to because I haven't been going to class. And so it's like, how can I play the game and talk to this teacher and do this thing and, you know, make up this assignment in order to graduate. So that anxiety that I think I must have had in high school will show up in dreams. So when I'm dreaming about high school, sometimes that will be like the undercurrent of like, what are you even doing right now? Aren't you supposed to be in a class? Like that'll be a thought process that's in my head. That's interesting. Side note, full ADHD episode, people. We told you it was going to go everywhere. Actually, we didn't tell you what this episode was about because we didn't know. But I can see that. Like I said, I can look back now with this lens and I can see how I didn't fit into the societal norm of what we were supposed to be doing as students. And maybe I did, right? I don't know. That whole idea that there's some norm that we're supposed to fit. I also can see it with jobs, right? Where I graduate from high school and go out into the workforce and immediately can't keep a job. Like, I just can't. It's like hard for me to stay employed for longer than like 6 months at a place because I would get so bored or I would get so frustrated, or the truth of it is probably I was bored. And after the boredom part, then I would get frustrated because I was bored. And then the frustration would be like, fuck this job, I'm out of here. Fuck this boss. They tell me I can't come in 15 minutes late, or, you know, they don't like the way that I do that. I'm done. I'm done with this job. And then I would just quit. And that's how I did the vast majority of all of my employment all the way up until, you know, I was in my 30s probably, into my late 20s. So I had a lot of jobs, bouncing around from job to job. Yeah. And do I think that it's all directly correlated to the neurodivergent spectrum that I'm on? No, but I do think that there's definitely big components of it that definitely played a factor and played a role. Because, I mean, that makes sense, right? I don't need a degree in neuroscience to understand that, yes, somebody with ADHD is not going to do well at a job that's repetitive, doing the same thing over and over and over again.
It's completely boring. And yeah, I totally get that. It's funny how it all just came on after me, though. Like your awareness.
Well, it's the awareness. I know that all the behaviors and all of the traits and all of the stuff was definitely there.
I was being funny.
It was definitely the awareness. And then I've got all of the sensory issues. No, I shouldn't say all of them, but I've got a lot of sensory issues that I didn't have awareness of either. And I didn't see it through that lens. And then again, right, new awareness, new understanding. And then it's like, oh, that's a thing for me.
Yeah, your sensory is pretty intense. You have a lot of that. You also have sensories with smells too.
Do I?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You're the smell lady. Like your thing where, you know, we drive over a dead skunk. We don't even have to drive over a dead skunk. A skunk could have died on the road 15 days ago and been picked up, or in Tennessee, it definitely was not picked up, right? There's not road crew going around picking up animal kill in this fucking city, town, state that we live in. It was vultures or something else that picked up the skunk 15 days ago. So there's the faintest whiff still on the road, and we'll drive over it. And for the next 15 minutes, you're having a physical reaction that's like, oh my God, I can't believe this. Does anybody else smell? Yeah, sweetheart, we all smell it. We all got noses. We can all smell it. How are you? I don't even know how you're alive right now. How are you breathing? It's so terrible in this van right now. I can't breathe. So you got this smell thing. What's my sensory issue with smells?
It's like cleaning products. Certain cleaning products, you have issues like vinegar, bleach, and even like the smelly good ones. I had these like, we usually don't use like toilet bowl deodorizer clippy on things. And I was like, oh, I wanted to. I was feeling frisky. I'm like, let's make our toilet water smell like flowers, you know? And so I clipped it on and I thought it smelled so good. And you were just like, every time you walked in, you had this little, like you walked into cellophane.
It was straight cat piss.
And then you're,
It was straight cat piss.
that's not at all what I think it smells like.
100%.
Interesting.
So I was trying to be a super loving husband and just be like, hey, I know she likes these. She gets to put smelly shit on her toilet if she wants. Like, it's not a big deal. She enjoys it. I can handle this. And every single time I would go to the bathroom, I would be in a cloud of cat piss the entire time.
No, it did not.
And then finally that
it
motherfucking
smelled like
thing.
a summer breeze, a beach.
A summer breeze.
It was like coconut.
Of cat litter.
No.
It was horrible.
Sometimes citrusy scents do smell like cat piss. And it's like, it's weird. Sometimes things are like citrus, mango, and I'm like, oh, that's going to smell amazing. Like, nope.
Yeah.
But never coconut. It was like Lysol coconut.
There was no coconut
stuff.
on that.
It was a coconutty thing. Do you know what's funny?
Tell me.
Is I have the same cleaner for the floors.
Okay.
And whenever I like to mix it, because I know you're not supposed to mix chemicals, but if it's the same kind, you're just mixing scents. So I don't want to get into this, doctor. What's
Sorry, are you like giving caveats?
No,
So that
I was just
people
hearing
out
people
there...
like, you can't mix cleaning products. I'm like, I know. However,
have you ever done the ammonia?
No.
What is it? Ammonia and
ammonia
bleach?
and bleach. Yes.
Have you never done that before?
I've never done that. I don't think.
I've done it on accident before.
Yeah.
It was back in Utah when we were cleaning it was our washing machine, and I had dumped some Drano down the thing. Because I think this was when we found out that the drain was leaking, right?
Okay.
And so I was in the process of trying to clean it all and flush it out and drain it because it was clogged. And I had dumped some Drano down there, not knowing that the Drano had ammonia in it.
Okay.
And so I don't know if I did bleach after the fact or if there was bleach in the line because of, the washing machine. But suddenly it was like, oh, everybody, we got to get out of the house. It was bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't remember that?
I don't.
Well, you probably passed out. I dragged your body to safety. You're welcome.
That's when my ADD started. You it to my brain. You it to my brain. What was I saying? Oh, the cleaning. So I like the lavender, vanilla, and the coconutty. So I mix them, and I'm just like, and then I have it really diluted because obviously, But oh my gosh, I just love it. I also like the smell of bleach, and I like the smell of vinegar. I really like the smell of bleach, especially if I'm really stressed out and cleaning with bleach, and you can smell it. I'm like, oh, okay, that's better.
Yeah.
So those are like soothing scents for me. We have conflicting soothing scents.
Yes, we do. And somehow we've managed to make it work.
I know.
We've been together all these years with conflicting soothing scent smells.
Coconut clip-ons, and I don't know what to call them.
That was not coconut.
It was coconut something.
I guarantee. It was like some
blue.
morning breeze bullshit. And there was no coconut in it. Unless it was coconut that went through a cat and got pissed out.
Oh, maybe.
It was terrible.
Maybe. I know.
As soon as that got down to like the last little remnants left, I was like, get that fucking thing off this toilet.
Still have one left.
I know. And it ain't going on our toilet again.
I know. And I'm sitting here and I can't put it on the other one either because our son has the same smell. He cannot stand it. Those coconut wipes that we have, those like Sentiva or whatever, the bleach ones. I love those. I use those for special occasions. I'm like, I want to make the
Breaking
counter
out our good wipes
smell because it smells so good. And Asher's like, he cannot handle it. It's like a physical. He's like ready to claw. He's always been really sensitive to smells, though. Even when he was little, his face, he could not handle strong smells. He would cry when he was a baby, and he would get blotchy.
Oh yeah.
If the smells were, he was like, ah, it would just completely overwhelm him.
I think about the sounds. Did we talk about sound?
Yeah, I don't think so. This is what like real life when you're at it on and you still are trying to
have a conversation with
you're
somebody?
still trying to have conversations, you're still trying to do things. Like it's really, I feel like we're like, this is like a documentary of what
this is a Tuesday afternoon for us. This is pretty much from morning till sundown. of us trying to have a conversation with one another. Hold on a minute. I got to talk to you about this one thing. And then we'll go somewhere else talking about something else. And we're like, what were we talking about? Oh, yeah, those dumb toilet bowl cleaner things. We got to get rid of those.
My favorite is when we're like in the grocery store and forget something and have to like go back to the aisle and get distracted along the way, never get it and leave. And like, oh my gosh, we were literally like walking back for it and saw something because, you know, what's not to see, and then not get the thing that we're like, oh, I have to go get this right now. It can be on the list. I have to get this right now. Oh, look at that. Now I can't do it. I'm over here and we've left the store.
Yeah, it's gone.
It's frustrating.
See, I'm not frustrated by it anymore.
Oh, I'm frustrated.
Yeah, I let go of the frustration of it. I used to get really frustrated by it. And then I figured, like when we came across, and by we, I mean, when you started introducing in the concept and idea that I might be on some sort of ADHD spectrum. Thank you
audacity.
very much. Right? How rude. But when you started to present that as a possibility for me, and I started to look at it, I was like, oh, I'm going to fix this. I got this figured out. Just take a big old chug of hot water, babe.
Hot. I just hotted myself. I just hotted myself. It was hot. Myself. Like it was hotter than I thought it was going to be. Okay. Keep going.
Yeah. Because I remember what I was talking about.
Why do you have to comment on everything?
What was I talking about?
I don't remember because I just burnt myself.
Because you were fucking...
No, when I first started bringing it to you.
Yeah,
you said, I'm going to fix this.
Yeah, I was going to fix it.
See who's got ADD,
it
not
was going to be the thing. Yeah, you're so on top of it over there. Drinking your fucking hot water.
They're going to think we're stoned. Like, this is us. This is natural.
This is just a Tuesday.
Let's see if I can let you get the thought out.
I will.
Okay.
I thought I was going to beat it. I thought I had the hack. I knew it. Now I was going to beat it. And it became apparent to me about 2 years in that I wasn't beating anything. There was no beating what was going on. So I just embraced it.
Yeah.
And then started to recognize it, or not even, I don't even know if recognize is the right word, because that makes it seem like, you know, I started to perceive it differently. And I started to perceive it as this incredible ability that I've had my whole entire life that has given me the opportunity to not just have the life that I have, but see life the way that I see life, and to move through life the way that I experience life. And I think about how, you know, you and I have had just some incredible adventures over the course of our relationship. And I have had some, when I say adventures, I mean, you know, yeah, we've done some fucking great things. We've had some really cool adventures. And over the course of my life, I've always had like adventurous times. And I think there's a part of that that is that ADHD thing where I have, you know, I don't want the same old thing every single day. I want something new. I want adventure. There's definitely the side of it that's not healthy, the side of it that's like adrenaline and all of those things that, you know, I've had to learn to heal and change, and that stuff I've been able to kind of fix. But as far as like needing things to be different and, you know, constantly changing, I feel like at this point in life, I do much better with routine and structure than I ever have before. And routine has been really, really difficult for me my whole life. But what has helped me in routine is also letting go of the idea that how I think and how I do things and how I work has to fit a routine or a structure. And so a good example is if I'm sitting down in the morning and going to start doing editing and answering emails and doing stuff like that, I'll have an intention, I'll have a goal where it's like by the end of this sit down period, I need to have X, Y, or Z done, right? I'm going to have this thing finished. And that might take me 20 minutes because a lot of stuff I can get done in like 10 or 15 minutes, right? If I hyper focus on things, it's a fucking holy superpower, Batman. And that's great, but that's a rarity. And I also don't like the hyper-focused energy. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like a lot of times when I'm in that hyper-focus, it doesn't feel good. It feels kind of manic. It feels kind of like...
Totally feels manic.
Right. It feels like a kind of an intense energy. So I don't really enjoy it. I can use it. I can tap into it if I need it. There's times where I very much am like, oh, we're going there now. But outside of those time periods, I can just bounce around and do a bunch of different stuff. And so it's easy for me to accomplish this one goal that, yeah, might only take me 15 minutes if I was going to do it from start to finish. And I might be working on that one goal for 2 hours, because over the course of that, I'm like, oh, I forgot, I got to check this. I got to check that. I got to do this. And then looking out the window, and then I'm over here, and then I'm over there, all day long.
Mm-hmm.
And rather than shaming myself for that, rather than getting frustrated with myself, I just allow for that process to take place and recognize that as my superpower rather than something that has to be tamed or controlled. That's working for me right now. I'm sure it'll change in the future, right?
Yeah, I love that you're finding ways to make it work and you're filing positivity about it. That's awesome.
Yeah, and I don't think that, again, everything's on a spectrum, right? Medication is great for people, and depending on who you are and where you're at and all those kind of different things and whatnot, I think medication for these type of things is really beneficial for some people. And it might be really beneficial for me. However, I'm not really interested in taking any medication for it.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't feel like it's, hurting my life right now. I feel like I'm productive. I feel like I can accomplish the things that I want to do. Obviously, it's not affecting my relationship with my ADHD wife, so I'm doing okay in that department. Turns out I got a bunch of friends that are all on the same fucking spectrum, which is always fun to sit back and watch. You're all, wait a minute.
I'm seeing
putting some pieces together here. I think we all might be somewhere on this spectrum. But
yeah.
What about you, baby? How do you feel?
What about me?
Because it's something that, like I said, you brought it to us. I'm sure you probably had more awareness. You brought this into our house.
I feel like I'm really blaming over here. Like, you did this.
I keep trying to say it in a loving way from this, I'm actually really grateful that you brought this to me.
Yeah.
I'm really grateful that you gave me ADHD because it's helped me understand myself and my life so much more, as well as have so much love and compassion for who I am present moment today.
Okay.
And had I not had awareness of it, I think I would still be stuck in a lot of those shame-based cycles of feeling like I was a loser and I couldn't keep track of anything and I was always mean, all of those things, right? But I am truthfully grateful that you shedded awareness on it.
I shedded. Shut it off.
Yeah, we might need to do a commercial break for a nose blow.
Okay.
So let's pause.
Back after this
nose blow break, I want to hear about your experience with the da-da-das.
We'll forget by then.
We'll see.
Chances are you've heard us talk about merino wool because we love it, and you're going to hear us talk about it again. We decided it was really important to us to start bringing in and wearing natural fibers that were good for our health. Woolly Clothing offers 100% merino wool, natural fabric, which is a healthier choice compared to the other synthetics that are often made with plastics. I've been wearing their underwear, their athletic tees, their shirts, and I stole Craig's pants because those are my favorite things to sleep in. Don't worry, he went and got himself his own pair. They're durable, they have tons of versatile styles, and it also really helps when you're trying to wick away all that moisture that they're also odor resistant. They're easy to take care of and also eco-friendly. So head over to stephandcraig.co right now, click on the Woolly link and enter the promo code Steph and Craig and get 15% off of your order. If you're ready for natural fibers that feel good on your skin, help regulate your temperature, keep you dry, don't stink, and on top of all of that, look really good. Go pick yourself up some clothes from Woolly now. How long have you been using those same non-stick pans that are all scratched up and scraped, not cooking well, and putting off those flecks of that non-scratch surface into your food? It's terrible for you. Do you still have those? We started getting serious about not only the food that we were putting in our bodies, but what we were cooking that food on. So we switched to American-made stainless steel cookware by Heritage Still. Heritage Still is a family-owned business located right here in Tennessee. They have been building great stainless steel clad cookware for over 40 years. They're versatile for all cooktops. They're oven safe, easy to clean, and they have a lifetime warranty. We switched out all our pans, and I am so glad we did. I love cooking with our Heritage Still pans, and I love the fact that when I'm cooking for my kids, my family, I have the peace of mind to know that it's safe for them to eat the food that I'm making. Head over to stephandcraig.co and click on the Heritage Still link and make sure you enter promo code Steph and Craig, to save 10% on your order. Start cooking healthier for you and your family today.
We're now picking up regular broadcast. We're returning from the, I don't know what to say. We're back.
We're back.
Tell us, babe.
Here.
Tell us about your dadas.
My dadas? Well, so...
Did you, like, when did you
what?
first realize that you had it?
Okay, so back in time, let me adjust here. I'm going to switch the camera to you so I can sit on my feet. So back in time, it was in the...
I keep hearing Huey Lewis.
Right?
I'm going to go back in time.
There was those like quizzes that went around, and it was like the early 2000s with the ADD.
Seriously?
It was here, hold on, because they come out with the hyperactivity. And when they were, it became the thing, and everybody was getting medicated, and they didn't look about
all that Ritalin in the 2000s.
And they weren't looking at the ineffective or the inattentive. They weren't looking at, it presents very differently in women than it does in men.
Right.
And that's just like one of their things that, oh my gosh, my eye's going. Anyway, so I was like, could this be? I was taking a test. And like on the computer, like doing these things, is this like, this makes sense? Because I was hitting some of these markers, right? I'm like, does this explain it? Does this? And then it was like, yeah, because I was basically too lazy. The inattentive part, the freezing, the numbing out, the not being able to move, the executive dysfunction, all of that wasn't factored in. So I wasn't hyper enough. I wasn't active enough. I wasn't mobile enough. So they're like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, well, it's kind of what it felt like, but that wasn't the case. So turns out it's exactly the case. It's like, exactly. But, so that's when it started like coming into my space a little bit. And of course, knowing what we know now, I look back at my entire life, look back at schooling, and I'm like, man, that was really intense. Like that was really obvious. But it's also really obvious for our kids that totally got missed, right? And it was the whole, I'm not going to put them on medication because I see how harmful that can be with kids. Now, if you've put your kids on the medication and that's what worked for them, like what worked for us and for our kids, and what we felt is not a judgment on what you felt or anybody else felt worked best for them and their kids. It's just for us. This is something that I didn't think was a good option. And then I did go too far from like thinking maybe it's helpful to nothing. Absolutely not. I didn't want a kid that, even though it would be nice, to not have so many battles. I didn't want somebody that was numbed out. I didn't want to numb our kids out. I didn't want to numb them out and make them conform. I wanted them to calm down a little bit, but not numb out. So it just wasn't an option. And maybe I should have considered it. But I didn't. So I knew that was a thing, and then it became more, but I didn't think it was more than ADD. And when they started talking about the ADD and the ADHD and the inattentive, and then it was like, here are these things. I definitely have it, but I wanted more of the hyper. I thought if I could just get the right ADD, if I could just get the right one. Why do I have the one that makes me like, duh? Why can't I have the one that makes me go, 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 go?
Oh my goodness.
Like I got the wrong, I need the right one. I need the one that's going to, I would rather be bouncing in my seat, not knowing that my body was frozen and my brain was going crazy. But when it came to...
Do you still feel that way?
What do you mean?
Because what you just described is you're like, bouncing in my seat. Like you don't sit still.
I feel like I do.
Okay. Okay.
You just pulled faces at me.
Okay.
So...
Baby, you couldn't sit in the parking lot for 2 minutes.
Oh my God, that's different.
Started off the whole podcast talking about your mental breakdown because your phone had to charge and you were alone in a shady parking lot.
But the thing is if my phone was charged and I had enough, I can hold my phone and just boom.
And then just sit still.
And my body will I can zone out on the TV.
Okay.
I can zone out on my phone. I can zone out in a book that requires a page turn,
Okay.
My whole body will just like stop moving if I have something that will allow my brain to turn off.
Yeah.
But if my brain doesn't get, it's like it's searching constantly. Is this it? Is this it? Is this it? Is this it? Boom, 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 boom. Try this. And when I do find a hyper focus or a hyper fixation, it's either like, whoa, this rabbit hole of like deep diving into stuff, or it's a perfection that comes out. Because not only am I going to do this, am I going to learn everything about it, am I going to get it, but I'm going to do it like perfect. I'm going to do it right. It's going to take binders and highlighters and notes and organization and the whole new thing, and got to have this, and it has to go. And I have to completely organize everything first. I have to get all the tools set up and ready to go so that I can do the thing, and I can have things perfectly where they are. And then in between having to pee and get distracted and doing all that. And then by the time I get it all set up, I'm usually like, and then I'm just, it's so hard. And I try to get the energetic. I try to get that is when I'm started like my tornado mode, when I'm like, here we go. Like, yes, we're getting stuff done. And I'm like, I like tornado around the house. You know, it's like I'm cleaning up this, get distracted here. I just, yes. And I feel so much better because I feel like I also like deserve when I'm like tired, I'm like, yeah, you earned it. It's okay that you're tired. It's okay that you're taking a break. Look at how much you got done. You feel better when the house is clean. You feel better when your toilet water smells like coconut. Like you just feel better. So it's these little things to try and feel better. So when I get that oomph, oomph, oomph going, I feel better about myself because the message that I got was worth was very much tied to productivity. And when you're very inactive, when you go into freeze mode, shut down, you're not worthy. You don't have
you're
worth.
Not being productive.
So
being lazy.
And I'm not unique there. Like anybody watching this, I feel like they're going to be going, me too. The person sitting across from me, I feel like he's like, me too. So I feel better about myself. And who doesn't like a clean house? Like a clean space. I do like a clean space, but I don't like when other people move my things because then I can't find them. And it doesn't have to make sense to you. It makes sense to me. And then when I can't find it, then it's chaos and I can't do the thing that I was going to do because the thing that I needed was gone. So then I have to hyper catastrophize and find this thing until I find the thing. And by the time I find the thing, if it's quick, whew, here we go. We're okay. Everything's fine. But if it's not quick, then it's chaos.
My favorite is that you're like, I don't like it when other people move my things because then I can't find them. And I'm like, baby, I wish it was other people moving your things.
Oh, no.
Sweetheart, 95% of this shit that you can't find ain't because nobody moved it. It's right where you took it off and left it.
Oh, no.
Like, where's my glasses? They are underneath the couch right now where you left them.
Oh, no.
Yeah, all of those, all of it. You're like, where's my cell phone? It's on the bookshelf in the back bedroom because that's where you left it. I didn't hide your phone.
I wasn't accusing you of hiding it.
I know, but it's so funny.
I was
you're
accusing you of moving
yes,
it.
Yes, I do. It's either me or the fairies.
No, you totally. Okay, well, the fairies are definitely tricksters.
Yes.
So let's not pretend that that's not a thing.
Okay.
But then you do. You will pick up my phone and then I can't find it. And you're like, it's right here. I'm like, well, I would have been able to find it if somebody didn't pick it up.
I do that sometimes.
So, but you're
right.
also trying to grab stuff because you feel like we can't get out of the house if you don't. I know. It's very loving. Anyways, okay.
So
do you still want me to keep going? Or are we good? Did I? I have more to say, but I don't know if it's needed. Oh, no. Oh, no. Commercial break. Commercial break.
I feel like the jury definitely has a good idea that you've got ADD at this point.
Well, very much. But
However,
then there's like, do you want to get into the neurodivergent part?
Yes, but I'm curious because you said, early 2000s, you take this test.
Yes. And the test was like, no.
Inconclusive, the test was inconclusive. So at what point did you decide, like, it's no longer a question of I might, but I do.
I might, but I do. When did I decide that? How did that come about? I don't have a clue. I have no idea. I have no idea how that happened.
Okay. So you don't remember the time frame?
I don't have a clue.
Do you feel like it was recent-ish?
No.
Okay. So it was a while ago?
No, I don't know. I think there was something's tickling my brain. I think it was when I learned more about the inactive, because it made me feel hopeless when it finally was like, I can't remember who was talking to me about it. I guess that doesn't matter. But I felt hopeless. I'm like, oh, my brain is just broke and I'm frozen and I'm just going to be unable to do anything, because it wasn't like there's not help for you. There's only help for the hyperactive. We're trying to calm hyperactive people down. And I'm like, I need you to hyperactive me. But it wasn't. It was only calm. So if you were calm, then it was things like, I don't know. It just felt very hopeless. So I do remember. So I shut that off, because
you thought you were just broken.
I'll just drink all the caffeine. I'll get it going myself. So I became very addicted to caffeine. I've always been addicted to caffeine.
I was going to say, caffeine addiction didn't start.
I've always been addicted to caffeine. I
think we can trace those roots back to childhood as well.
That was not an accurate statement.
Yeah.
But I did learn you can treat it with caffeine. So I'm trying.
Treating your ADHD with caffeine. How's that working?
Would you believe that I have had no caffeine today?
Both of us.
Yeah, this is.
Yeah, we're on our 14th time of trying to quit coffee.
We have quit coffee.
For the 14th time.
Right.
We'll see how it sticks this time.
14th time's the charm.
Yeah. So talk more about then the neurodivergent part, where not just the squirrely ADHD part that you've done a beautiful job demonstrating and outlining.
I caught that, mister. I totally caught that.
Hey, I'm in the same boat as you.
Yeah.
It's a fun boat, by the way.
We're at the party boat.
Yeah, I love being in this crazy little boat with you, because we don't know what's fucking going on.
It's so hard to try and tame all of it in public, too.
Yeah.
It's so hard. Like, I just want to be like, yeah, this is me. And I have to be like, I can hold a conversation. I can make eye contact. And I can do all those things, but sometimes it's just like,
yeah, it's nice not to have to.
Oh my hell. And then as a fun little bonus, it was a cherry on top on that Sunday. You add in perimenopause, which is I almost said premenopause. I caught it, and then I'm like, that's not the right word. When you add in the premenopause, the perimenopause, when you add in the pause, it
there you go again with your alliteration.
It totally messes
I've got the
with you.
da-da-das and the pa-pa-pas.
Right? Have fun with it. But it makes your brain just foggy and crazy, and
this Perry's kicking your butt
like,
lately.
I don't even know.
You know, we got to get you some of that Mexican hormone therapy.
that wasn't an innuendo.
That was not a euphemism for your Mexican husband.
Are you sure?
Correct.
You're like, I got the solution.
Right.
I got just what you need.
But when did you start thinking about the other aspects of it? Or not even thinking about it, but owning it?
Owning it?
Like, I might be on this other spectrum as well. The whole neurodivergent part.
That was... So you know how we went undiagnosed, our kids went undiagnosed, and how that's like such a thing.
Well, that's the other thing, is we should be really clear. We haven't been diagnosed with any of this. Like, we're not going to doctors and getting diagnosed with any of this. And I don't think that makes any damn bit of difference.
Yeah, I'm not
interested. I mean, all mine's come directly diagnosed from this woman and her TikToks. So I'm perfectly fine with that.
Well...
I mean, what is a doctor going to tell me? Yeah, you have it? Thanks, boss.
Well, your therapist might tell you that, and then you tell it to your mom, and she's like, you don't have autism.
Right.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
So one of our daughters had their therapist, and they brought it to us. And
I thought you were talking about you.
No.
Your therapist. Your therapist was like, Stephanie, I think you have autism.
Well,
and then you tell your mom, and she's like, no, you don't.
Okay, I definitely did. Oh my gosh, stop. That happened. It's a sensitive thing. I feel horrible about it. She brought it, and I was like, you don't, like, I think the words were like, I know what autism is. You don't have it. Because she was really worried. I'm like, you're not autistic. Because the information that we had was also limited. It was like the much farther on the spectrum. Otherwise, this is just either undisciplined or scattered, like
Yeah,
all the
just
things. They're
behavioral
like, you just
issues.
need to try harder.
Yeah, you just got to
Just try harder.
do some better parenting.
Better parenting, behavioral changes, you know,
Stop feeding them
obviously you
sugar.
just need to exercise, you know, all of the things that like, it's not this, it's that. So I also bought into that. And luckily our daughter was like, I don't think you're right. And so she kept going. And at one point she was talking to me about neurodivergency and her therapist. They were going, and I have mine at this point, and, you know, we're talking, and she says, I'm neurodivergent. And she points at me very aggressively and goes, and so are you. And I was like, excuse me, what? And so I was like, okay. And then I brought it to mine, and she's like, well, so here's the thing. And she like, was trying to tiptoe around. So I'm like, am I this? Because I didn't have information.
Yeah.
And it was also like another part of learning that an extensive amount of trauma can actually damage your brain.
Yeah.
And so it was like, oh my gosh, brain damage from trauma. And that was a really tender subject for me. It was really hard. And I brought that to her, and she confirmed that as well. And I didn't absorb it well. So now she's careful when I'm like, is this me? And she's like, well, let's talk about this. Let's tread lightly here.
Mm-hmm.
Let's tread lightly here. So I started getting more curious and looking into it. And as you start learning, when you hyper-focus, you start seeing things, you start connecting dots. And not only can you connect your own dots, but you can also connect the dots of your partner. So
It's always easier.
yeah.
That's how I
And then-
usually do it.
yeah.
Is I usually diagnose you with everything first.
Oh, I know.
And then at some point down the road, I'm like, this one might apply to me a little bit. And then I'll go back and reflect a little bit more. And I'm like, maybe that one too.
Maybe that one
And
was
then
for
like
me.
3 years
Yeah.
later, I'm like, I got them all. And they're
Right.
way worse. Yeah.
So it was definitely it came to a very humbling conversation that I brought back with accountability and apologizing for like just not having that information. Because there would have been so much more that we would have been able to, because our kids are, you know, we're, like you said, the spectrum is big.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a place for everybody on the spectrum. And there's some that are stronger than others that we just didn't see. And I'm like, man, life might have been easier for them
We'll never
going
know.
through school
Yeah, we'll
had
never
they
know.
been. Well, because it would have been for us. Maybe.
I don't think it would have in the 80s.
Maybe not
Yeah,
in the
they weren't
80s,
doing
huh?
things for kids like this in the 80s, right? In the 80s, it was very, very limited.
Yeah.
Like we all knew the kids that had ADHD.
You mean
right?
us?
Yeah, but we didn't refer to them as kids with ADHD or autism or on some neurodivergent spectrum, right? Kids back in the 80s that were different, they didn't get, you know, it wasn't an easy life for them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that would have been the case for either of us. I'm pretty grateful that I didn't learn about this until I was in my 30s, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It would have definitely been, I think, beneficial to have the understanding of it when it came to raising our kids and just
Yeah.
how to, you know, like a lot of the sensory things make a lot of sense to me now. Light, sound,
Mm-hmm.
you know, Asher will yell at us sometimes and it's not him yelling. It's, you know, he's hyper-focused on something and then
Getting
what?
interrupted.
Yeah, like all of those
being
things.
interrupted
yeah.
when you're hyper focused is incredibly.
Yeah, which I get.
Oh, I'm glad you get. I'm glad
Yeah.
you have awareness of that
Yeah.
too, because it's like that. Not me. If I'm hyper focused, you can come
You're
interrupt
a
me.
peach.
I am.
You're just a straight up Georgia peach.
I'm just like, oh, is there something
if you're
that you need?
focused on something,
Of course, I have to.
yes, you're all. Excuse me, yes, yeah, you're a peach.
Right? We're all like batshit. We're batshit.
But what's nice is having the awareness of it. Again, it's like it gives me so much more compassion for myself, and then also for you and for our kids too, right? But the compassion of just like, rather than, especially when it comes, like, let's talk about clutter, because you're on the end of the spectrum. It's not to say you're messy. It's not to say that you're full of clutter. It's not, none of that is the case.
Mm-hmm.
You're not a messy person, but you're not an organized person. And
Look, my binders say differently.
sorry,
My
the fact
binders.
that you said binders, right? Multiple.
So many.
Yes.
It's
so
because
many.
I'm so organized.
You are so organized And you've got so many notebooks and so many binders and so many places.
How
and
committed I am to organization.
So many different dimensions.
I've got 2 whiteboards up in one room.
Yeah, you do.
It's not even a joke.
Right. But that part of it all.
Are you one of the millions who have completely been swept up by the pickleball craze? The type of paddle you play with is a really important choice that absolutely affects your game. Element 6 pickleball paddles are perfect for the beginner or seasoned pro. Element 6 has created premium pickleball paddles. Don't be like us and just buy the first paddle you come across. Start out with an edge in your game. Start out with a lightweight, stylish. Of course, you want your paddle to look good and be U.S.A. PA approved, just in case, you want to take it competitive or professional. Element 6 was founded by 2 brothers, and all of their products are manufactured right here in our own backyard in Tennessee. And with a wide range of options and free shipping and returns, there's nothing to lose. Right now, you can get yours. Go to stephandcraig.co, click on the Element 6 link, and enter Steph and Craig as a promo code to save you 10% on your order. And as a bonus, Element 6 is also going to send you a free gift with every order. Get yours today, and we'll see you on the courts. Looking for the perfect gift for somebody you love? Try looking beyond material things and get them the most unique gift possible. An unforgettable custom song from Songfinch. Songfinch lets you create an original studio-quality song inspired by your own life and the people that you love. It's completely unique, personal, and it lasts forever. Songfinch walks you through a simple 4-step process to create your original song. Just tell them who the song is for, provide them some personal details, and let them know the type of song you want. Then pick your favorite Songfinch artist or get matched with one, and they'll write it, record it, and produce your custom song in just 4 to 7 days. Go to stephandcraig.co, click on the Songfinch link, and enter promo code Steph and Craig for $20 off your custom song.
In the last couple of years, that part I've been able to just let go of, because it used to stress me out. I'm in a very different end of the spectrum where, if things are out of order, especially out of order the way that I put them, that's really hard for me. And for a long time, I used to view that through the lens of being controlling. And there's a component of it, and there's a behavior behind it that I've had to change and shift in the way that I do things. But now it's like, if things aren't in the order that I like them, whether it's the silliness of how we put away dishes or load the dishwasher, or how things are set up on the, countertop or something like that, that part of my brain that has a really hard time with that, I can just kind of let that side go, because I acknowledge that it's butting up against your side. It's butting up against your parts. And, both of our parts get to participate in this shit show that we've got as far as our relationship goes. Not that our relationship's a shit show. That sounded terrible.
Oh, Jesus.
No, but in this ADHD aspect of it, right? And I'm grateful for that, because if I didn't have that awareness, then it might look like tension and frustration and anger and, arguments about silly things. And every now and then we do a good job of accommodating each other, where just the other day there's a spot on our counter that gets a little crazy after a while, and I can tolerate it and I can tolerate it and I can tolerate it. And then at some point I'm like, I just can't tolerate it anymore. And I'll either do something about it, or I'll ask you to do something about it, because oftentimes it is stuff that's yours that you've got organized in some fashion. It's not an organizational fashion that I recognize. It's not a language that I speak, but it's your language, and you speak it and you understand it. And I've learned over the years that if I just go and gather up all of that stuff and set it somewhere else to get it out of my space, that causes you immense anxiety. Also, if I gather it all up and throw it away, oh my God, even worse. So instead of doing all of that stuff that I used to do out of frustration and anger, because for me, I'm I need this space to be clear. Now it's a much more amicable solution, I think, to where we can navigate this together, rather than trying to, constantly be countering one another with our it-is. Yeah. What do you think?
I think that I feel like I do a pretty good job listening to you. And I don't often just sit there and wait for my turn to speak. Oh, have I been chomping at the bit over here? I'm like, I'm going to say something.
Sorry, do you say you don't often do that?
I feel like I don't wait for my turn to speak and just like wait for you to stop talking so that I can speak.
Okay.
I see you feel something different.
How many times are you telling me? You're like, could you seriously hurry up and talk faster?
Well, okay, that's not the same thing.
How long is this taking?
No.
You're saying
that's
something
not the same
so
thing.
long.
That's not the same thing.
You've
That's
been
not the same
speaking
thing. Time out. Time out.
3 seconds.
That is not the same thing. What I'm saying for this moment, that I can't lose my train of thought, that I'm already losing, I'm getting mad, is that I don't wait for you to stop talking so that I can speak, so I can say the thing that I want to speak. And what you're speaking to is when I am listening and you have to talk so slowly and deliberate. I'm gonna fucking pull my hair out. It's not because I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for you to get, like, you've got to pick up the pace. You've got, like, it's like I am going to go crazy.
I'll do better.
And then I can't cut. So that's not the same thing. That is not the same thing, sir.
What did you forget? What are we? I don't want you to forget the thing. What were you bringing up?
The slow speaking.
Okay.
Hold on. I don't fuck.
Check. We got it.
The bags. You listen. Do you think you're organized?
Do I think I'm organized?
Yes, because you're over here, you're like, you're not organized. And I'm just like genuinely curious. You do have ways that you set things up, as I have ways that I set things up. But do you think that anybody other than you can go into Craig's areas and know what the fuck is happening?
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
I was going to say.
No.
Okay.
No, I'm not sitting here over, I don't pretend like I'm Mr. Organizational.
Are you sure? Because that's what it sounded like to me.
Not at all. I tend to, I do the exact same thing.
Yes. Okay.
I just do it slightly different. It's slightly different.
The only difference is that it's your shit and not mine.
That's
the only difference.
How many pairs of shoes are sitting at the front door right now?
How many pairs of shoes do you have total?
I don't know. That's a great question. How many pairs of shoes do you have total?
Less than you. Maybe in Tennessee, but in Utah, you were the shoes. You had the shoes. You just had them tucked in your cubbies, and you didn't think you had shoes.
Sounds
and you would
like
always
I was organized.
You get mad. So like we don't wear shoes in the house.
Yeah.
You only wear one pair of shoes.
Pretty much my whole life.
Yeah. So you have
flip-flops.
You have shoes.
Yeah, I got a pair of
and you've
flip-flops.
got, like, how many pairs of socks do you have that need to be washed that you've left in the sunroom? How many pairs of shoes do you have sitting in the sunroom right now? How many pairs of shoes do you have sticking in the cubby in your closet that's under? No, we're not done. So you only wear one pair of shoes out. So you only have one pair of shoes that goes at the front door.
Sorry, what were we talking about?
Asher and I wear different pair of shoes. So there's more of our shoes because we wear different shoes. You only have one pair and you're like, what are all these shoes doing here?
Fine. Fine.
That's right.
I'll stop complaining about the shoes.
Oh, yeah?
I pretty much have, haven't I? Do you feel like I stopped complaining about the shoes?
You literally just complained about the shoes.
I was joking. That wasn't a complaint.
How you complain about the shoes is you'll come in and start kicking them.
I kick them the fuck out of my way. I straight up dad do that shit. Like, that's a dad move.
It is.
Walk in the house and just start kicking shit out of the way. Like, how many times I got to walk in this goddamn house or step all over shoes? I got to kick this shit out of my way. That's a dad move. Yeah. I'm a dad. I can do it.
No.
I'm justified.
It's like also, yeah, you are justified. I think we've like passive aggressive all over each other for this episode.
I'm not feeling passively aggressively toward you in any way.
Are you feeling aggressive?
No, I'm having fun.
I'm having fun too.
Yeah, I think it's a silly.
Also, I'm being a little passive aggressive.
I know you got way more passive aggressive in you than I do, but that makes sense.
Look at Judgy Judger. What do you mean that makes sense?
Well, I think about it over the course of our lifetime, right? You've had to kind of eat more shit than I've had to eat. I've been able to get some of my aggression out over the course of our lifetime.
That's true.
You haven't had as many opportunities as I have had.
It is my time. It is my time.
It's Stephanie's time.
That's what perimenopause is. That's why women have that, is because they can't like take any more shit. And so now it's got to start coming out. Like, we did it for this amount of time. Now guess what? We're done.
40 plus years now. It's time.
Fuck all of this. And here's all of my harars.
Yeah, I love it.
Oh my gosh. This is such a silly episode.
It's fun.
This is such a silly
It's
episode.
fun. Let's
We're
wrap
like
it up
all
though,
over
because
the
I
place.
think I'm ready for another nose blow.
Okay.
What did you look at me all weird
Because
for?
I heard it wrong. It took my brain a minute to catch up to what you actually said.
You got things on your mind, woman.
Let's wrap this up.
You
Let's
got
go.
money on your mind.
Mind on my money and money on my mind.
I don't know any of those things. I don't remember those things. Thank you, everybody. Clearly, we have ADHD. We're curious too. I think it's super common in relationships to catch it from your partner. So if you're one of the men out there that have caught ADHD from your wife, let us know. We want to hear about it. Come on the podcast and tell your stories. No, but I do think it's very common for couples to end up on this spectrum together.
Yeah.
Yeah, because why? I mean, it makes perfect sense, right? Of course, we're going to. Where?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
You don't know.
I don't know.
I'm tired.
I'm
gotta go to
tired.
bed.
I don't know what's going on.
Everybody, expect the best.
Plan for the greatest.
We'll see you next week.
Just take a chance, we got a wild ride. Wait and see, you and me, we were meant to be.
We want to make something perfectly clear. This podcast is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as a substitute for professional advice. We're sharing with you our own personal experiences and insights, things we have found to be helpful on our healing journey. But we are not licensed therapists. If you need help, it's important to seek out a qualified professional. Remember, we believe that we all do better when we heal together. See you soon.